Hey, welcome back to the Shade Tree, and welcome back to my wiring nightmare. I think we left off last time with some wiring gremlins. I have figured a few things out, and I will give you my final honest opinion of this $70 Amazon wiring harness. Stick around. Alright, so where we left off last time was the blinkers were not blinking. Only one headlight was working. No tail lights, no parking lights, no brake lights. The fuel pump was working but not picking up any fuel. We're going to pick up right where we left off last time. I figured a few things out. Alright, so the first two things that were wrong, both flashers that they sent with this harness were junk. Didn't even work. I had two that were left over from when I did the painless harnesses and other vehicles. I popped them in. We have blinkers now. That was the first thing. The second thing that was baffling to me was trying to find the brake wire for the brake lights. Now, technically speaking, there should have been a hot brake line coming in white, and what it was is this wire was tucked inside the harness, so I figured this was the hot line, but it was not showing hot. Well, it's connected to the other side of the switch. They had it white. It is white. It says brake switch on it, but there's no power in it. I found this one here. It's the third brake light. This is the one that has power. This one was actually tucked up inside all the wires we were not going to use. So I don't know what happened. Anyway, we figured out where the brake power is coming in here, and it'll get plugged in. I'm assuming this one now gets clamped onto the column, the brake from the column. This will go on one end of our switch, and this will go on the other end. So that is figured out now. We now have power to all of our gauges. As far as the bulbs are concerned, they light up. So we figured that out. That was a wire that was also missing that apparently you have to provide your own power wire to power up these gauges. It goes from the panel circuit on the headlight switch to where we tied all of our hot wires together on the light bulbs. You have to provide your own wire for that. In all fairness, it did say you would need to supply some wiring, but it doesn't tell you what wiring. You have to figure that out apparently. So the other wire you needed to supply was the this one here, the solenoid wire coming from the starter to the neutral safety switch. They gave you almost enough to splice it off and use it, but not quite long enough, so I had to provide my own wire for that. Also, we had to provide our own wire for our fuel pump. So if you are new to it, I wouldn't recommend this harness to start with. I would get a more detailed harness like the painless one. There are a few others out there that are detailed as well as painless, but painless is the one that I used. Very simple, provides you with everything. And just as a for instance, this is the book they give you. I mean, this is like so detailed and explains every single detail. This is what you get with the $70 harness. A couple of illustrations and 2 or 3 pages of very brief explanations, and you can tell that this is designed for people that have done this before, because the details are non-existent. I mean, you almost have to know exactly what to do. Whereas this one, it explains everything. So if you're new to it, I would highly recommend the painless harness over this one. Yes, it is a little more expensive, but it's well worth the money in my opinion. So that's all I'm going to say about wiring. There is one other issue on this that we're having that I'm not understanding is I have the tail light wire from the harness to the headlight switch, but we are not getting power back to this wire back here. So the tail light slash parking lights are the only things that are not working now. And another thing is too that because we are using the third brake light wire, it doesn't have a brake light wire in the back harness. It's labeled third brake light, so you have to use that wire to power your brakes. But it doesn't really explain that in the book at all. The one with the third brake light is an easy fix. It's just a matter of, we're gonna have to provide a wire for that too, to go from that light to this light. And also today, or in this episode I should say, we're going to disconnect the fuel pump from the gas tank, and I'm going to run a small tank out here filled with gas just to see if this pump picks up the gas out here. There may be something going on with that tank or in the sending unit or whatever. I don't know, but there's at least 5 gallons of gas in that tank, and it should be enough to pull it up out of there, unless we did something wrong, but I don't know. But we're going to put a small tank here and run a hose from our fuel pump into this tank and see if it doesn't pick the fuel up. If it does, then we have an issue with our tank that has 5 gallons of gas in it that we got to take back out of there again. So the joys of building classic cars. Also in this episode, we have to finish this exhaust. I know I said I wanted to do it the last time, but we need to do it this time. Get this thing buttoned up underneath. We'll run through the brakes real quick. They were all good on the S10 when I drove it back here. I mean, the front brakes look brand new other than being rusty. The drum brakes, this one back here is a little sticky. I don't know if a shoe is hanging up or something, but we'll check it out. Throw the tires back on this thing, and then last but not least, try to shorten our drive shaft. We have to shorten it like 3 or 4 inches, so we will attempt that. If we're not successful, then we're just going to have to see if we can get somebody to make one for us, or see if there's a shop here locally that can do this right for us. But we're going to make an attempt at it ourselves just to see if we can do it. So let me get busy, man. Alright, so there's one other thing we have to do. We have our new speedometer. This is a GPS style, which I'm not really crazy about, but there really wasn't much out there to pick from, white-faced anyway. This is our old housing. I took it apart, took the glass out, took the speedometer guts out, went in there like that. So we just pull the guts out of it. And what we need to do is we're going to have to cut the back of this out so we can fit this down in there. This housing actually bolts to the back of the dash. So what I want to do is cut this out. We're going to have to make some kind of a filler panel to go around the space. So it'll end up looking something like that with a little green ring in there. Like I said, there is a lot to do. Let me get busy. Alright, well I think I've got most of the gremlins worked out of this thing. So let's hook our battery up and see what we got. Alright, let's start with the blinkers, I guess. Left blinker. Oh, look at here. Inside one works. Kind of hard to see in the sun, but you got a blinker there. Oh yeah. Let's try the right one. Yep. And yes. Cool, we got our blinker lights working. How about flashers? Here you go. We got flashers. Flashers in the front and flashers in the back. We got our dash lights. And they do dim. we went ahead and pulled our hose off the gas tank, and we got it on our little portable tank here. So technically speaking, if we turn this over and it pulls gas up, then we know it's a problem with our tank. If it doesn't, then we know it's a problem with that fuel pump. Let's crank it and see what happens. Kind of thinking it might be the fuel pump. I don't know. But she's not getting gas, so I wonder if we filled this line with gas to kind of like prime it, maybe that would work. I don't know. Let me give that a try.
Almost.
Popping through the carburetor, that means the timing's off. So, we need to check the timing again. It could mean our timing is off. I'm going to do some investigating and I'll be back. Alright, well I think we have multiple issues going on here. One of them being this water neck, we got to do something with it. It just, when that pump starts going, it's spraying water out of there. I don't think this carburetor is working the way it's supposed to be working because of our choke situation. And I just think there might be an overall issue. This carburetor's been sitting around for years. I didn't go through it. So I think we're going to go back to the drawing board on this thing, and I'm either going to have to find the right parts for this carburetor, or we're going to have to get another carburetor for it. So while I look for parts for this Holly, I've been working on the master cylinder and the brakes. I got 2 front lines hooked up. I'm trying to find, I don't have the right connector to hook up the rear brakes to the proportioning valve. So that's an issue. It just seems to be issue after issue. But that's the way it goes, man. We did solve a lot of the electrical issues, and we'll keep after that. I still got to figure out what's going on with the parking lights. That's really the only, I think that's the last issue with the parking lights as far as that goes. We're going to call it a day for today. I'm going to get online, see if I can find some parts for this Holly. If I can't, then maybe buying an Edelbrock for it. I don't know. I'll have to see. I have an old Chinese Quadrajet in there, but it's missing parts as well. And I know if this thing doesn't fire with the Holly, it's not going to fire with that piece of junk. But you know, we could probably throw it on there just to see. I don't know. And also we have the hood that needs to be painted, body worked and painted. Most of the body work is done on it. We just have to sand it out, prime it, and shoot it. And I think most of the elements for this thing will be done, other than, you know, getting this baby to fire up. So we'll be back at it again tomorrow, man. Alright, so we are up and at it early this morning. I started working on the speedometer. I was going to buy another sheet of metal to fabricate our ring out of, but I found this piece of masonite, which is pretty rigid stuff. So we made our ring out of that. So I will just show you how this goes together. We got the back of this cut out. So what we're going to do is, this will eventually get painted green. It slides on here like this. And this ring holds this in. Something like that. This goes inside of here, like that. This goes on here. like that, and then this bolts to the dash from the back side to hold everything in place. So like I said, this will eventually be painted green, and it should all blend in pretty good. So that's one thing solved. Also, if you remember our parking light situation, check this out. Yep, we now have parking lights, front and rear. I made a mistake of thinking the black was ground and the white was the power. Wrong. Turns out that the black is the power and the white is the ground. So all we had to do was take apart our connectors and swap them around, and we now have parking lights. So with that problem solved, we moved on to the carburetor. Like I said yesterday, I had this Quadrajet that I bought when we were trying to get the 46 running. I believe it was bolted on there for like maybe an hour, and I took it back off. We're going to give it a try on this engine just because we have it, to see if it doesn't do better than that Holly does. And this also has an electric choke, so maybe it'll do better. I don't know. If not, well, then we'll start looking at Edelbrock's. Alright, well, I got the water neck back together. Took a file to the back of the housing on the water neck, and I filed down the intake deck. There's a few imperfections in it. Hopefully it'll seal this time. We're going to go ahead and stick this Quadrajet on there, put a different fuel pump on, and see if we have any better luck with that. Alright, so we're back out here working on the old 55 Willys. Last time I believe we left off trying fuel pumps, or attempting to see if that fuel pump will pick up gas out of a can. I was able to get the Quadrajet on. I think I told you that. So what I'd like to do is swap out the fuel pump that's on there for this one that I found in our archives. I wasn't able to do much filming past couple of days, had a lot to do, but I did do some behind the scenes stuff in the meanwhile, here and there. Managed to get our grill on. It's looking pretty good. Got our hood painted and got it on, but I'll tell you what, the fitment is really not that good. We put the new hinges on that Tim gave us from the Toolman channel. Didn't seem to make much of a difference as far as this hood goes. I think this thing took a pretty good hit on that side. May have knocked things out of whack, but it almost seems like now the hood is too big for the cowl. It fits pretty good here, but you can see there's it hangs over there almost like it's bowed out a little bit. This here is pushed in this way. I thought I was able to pull it out. I did pull it out a little, but not much, I guess. The fitment is the same on this side as it is on that side. It bowls out. I'm pretty sure this thing took a whack on this side of the Jeep at one time. There is a gap here, and on this side there is no gap. So the whole thing would seem to have to get shifted that way, but there are no adjustments that I know of that can move the hood that way on those hinges. The hinge pockets are wallered out vertically, not horizontally. So loosen the hinges up and tried to move them on the inside, and nothing seemed to work. So fellas, what I'm telling you is she is what she is. But it don't look too awfully bad considering what we started with. I think it looks pretty good. So I guess what we're going to do today is pick up right where we left off. We're going to hook up the new fuel pump from a can, see if the fuel pump we found can do a better job than the one that's on there, basically. Let's see what we can do with getting this fuel pump on here and possibly getting fuel to this carburetor and getting this thing running. Alright, old fuel pump is out. New one is in. We got our temporary gas tank hooked up. Let's crank it over and see what she got. Yep, that goes the figure one. Let me charge the battery. I'll be back. Alright, our battery's been on the charger for a couple hours. Let's hook her back up and see what we got. That fuel pump is still not filling this bowl. I don't know what the issue is. There's something I'm doing wrong here, but it doesn't seem to want to pump it all the way up. Oh, that's not good. I have to kind of believe our timing is way off, so I'm going to try to pull the number one plug in and see if I can get this thing on top dead center again, and we'll try it again. Alright, it was no easy task getting that plug out of there. It's pretty tight. You know, some guys prefer to use their finger to do this, but I got the old earplug thing up in there, and so we'll turn it over so she pops out and see where we're at on our balancer here. And let's see what we got. Alright, here we go again. Oh, look at that, huh? Well, we'll tell you this, that fuel pump is not pumping fuels. We got it to a certain point and stopped, so that's 2 fuel pumps. At this point right now, I'm either going to go down and get a brand new fuel pump, which that one was, but you know how things are nowadays. If that doesn't work, then we're going to have to maybe work on this manual pump. I don't know, but it's hot out here and I'm frustrated, and I'm gonna go in the house. Before we head in the house, I got some more behind the scenes things that I've done. I know I said I was gonna paint this green, but I just used the same materials we put on the panels. I think it looks alright. Got our GPS hooked up. Started working on the roof panels. Got one in place. Got the rest of the side panels on. We're going to go ahead and clean this all up tomorrow and see if we can't get our board down, put our wood pieces on. So we are moving along with it. The roof panels, I just bought like a piece of wall paneling is all I'm using, the 1/4 inch thick stuff. And then just covering it with the material, gluing it on there. It's cheap and it'll do the job just fine. So we'll see you tomorrow, man. Alright, we are back at it once again. Getting ready to install the 3rd fuel pump. I splurged for this one here. Actually the only one they really had. It's a universal fuel pump, but this one's 38 gallons per hour, I'm assuming. I don't know what these are, these cheap Amazon thingies. Well, this one was 10 bucks. This one was almost 80 bucks. So hopefully You're going to get what you pay for this time, and it's going to work. So we're going to climb under this thing once again, hook up this Edelbrock pump, and see if that doesn't make the difference. Alright, our new expensive fuel pump is on. The battery is hooked up. Let's see if we get what we pay for. Well, it's making an awful lot of noise, but I don't see anything pumping yet, so. I don't know. Well, I ain't sure what to do now. I'm not sure. Maybe it takes a minute. I don't know. Maybe we have to prime the line again. I don't know. But let me mess with this thing and see what we can do. Well, I guess you do not get what you pay for these days. It's just not pushing the fuel up to the carburetor for some reason. 3 different fuel pumps. I can't believe that all 3 of them are that weak that they can't push the gas up in there. But I guess I'm going to go back to the drawing board on this thing and see what I'm doing wrong. I did this morning try to see if that mechanical fuel pump would fit in there, but the motor mount's in the way. It's just not going to fit up in there. So we are stuck with some kind of electronic fuel pump. Finding one that'll push gasoline to this carburetor is more than a challenge that I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest with you. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to have to go in the house and get on a computer and do a little research and see what am I doing wrong here. Why is this thing not pushing gas into the carburetor? Alright, here's the deal. We are back to square one. We got the Holly back on it. We put our $10 pump back on there because Edelbrock was didn't even work right out of the box. I went and tested it with 2 bottles and it wasn't even sucking fuel. So right out of the box, didn't work. And that's a shame because I trusted the name, but just like everything else, if you read the fine print, way down in there, made in China. So right out of the box, $80 fuel pump doesn't even work. Anyway, let's put some gas in this thing and let's see what happens. Woo! Stinky too. It did run. That's kind of a relief. Oh, you know what? I think we have a major vacuum leak. See if I can get the camera in there. That could have been the issue all along. Did solve the fuel delivery issue. And there was a hole in that manifold that should have got plugged, I do believe. I'm going to check the video out as soon as I'm done here. Well, let's see how much of a difference that makes. got some adjustments to make on that carburetor for sure. We're gonna call that a win, a small one, but a win. I'm running off a tank still, so tomorrow we're gonna have to hook it up to the regular tank and see if she's gonna pull from that tank, and we'll get the rest of the exhaust put on this. It's a big relief that it's running. It hasn't run in a long time. We got a little tuning to do on the Holly. The Quadrajet actually probably would have ran had I noticed that vacuum port was off in the back of the manifold, but I can't call the Quadrajet total junk because it probably would have ran had I known that. But hey, you know what? The Holly runs too, so. And I think that piece I found came off a Motorcraft carburetor, but it fit right on there, so, and it seems to be working. So win-win, right? I guess that'll wrap it up for today. It was frustrating in the beginning, but you finally got the thing to run. I'm so glad for that. So we'll be back at it again tomorrow, man. Alright, so we're back at it once again. Yesterday we got this old small block fired up for the first time in a while. So I can see already that our water neck is starting to weep again. I mean, I don't know. When I first put the Edelbrock pump on, it told me to put it further back on the rail. So I did that. And as you know, it didn't work anyway. But when we took it back off and put the old $10 cheapie on there, it actually, that one being farther back on the rail, actually worked. I think I'll just pick up a bunch of those $10 cheapies and have them on hand. I started taking the tank out, actually got the tank out to find out why this thing isn't picking up gas. Come to find out, the sleeve had come off, so it doesn't fit on there very tightly. So I took some of this fuel and chemical resistant JB weld, and we JB welded the end on there. Hopefully it works, I don't know. So we got about a day to wait before we can put the tank back in. So what we're gonna do today is there's two more major things that got to get, well actually three more major things that have to get done. One is the exhaust, which I'm going to try to tackle today. The second one are the brakes, the shortening of the drive shaft, which I don't think is going to happen in this video, but I at least want to get the exhaust done, or at least get it started today. So let me get busy, man. This one looks like it's going to be pretty easy. But we have to get it as tight to that shock as we can, or else our gas tank ain't going to fit. We'll just kind of angle that a little bit. Alright, so we got our pipe in, got it fastened all the way up to here. A couple of things. I'm making a new brake line, so this isn't going to be an issue right here. We're going to reroute it up over the top. I'm not going to totally fasten this down yet because I want to get the gas tank up in here first to see what kind of room. I know there was not a lot of room on this side, so I think we have enough suspension travel there. I think this is going to be like 4 inches or so, which should be plenty for this thing. We'll have to get a reducer for the tip, so we can get the tip on there. And I think it'll work out pretty good. We're going to let our epoxy harden overnight. I'm going to go ahead, it's probably tomorrow or something, and just show the other exhaust on the other side. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. We've gotten quite a bit accomplished, I think. Got the old girl to run. That's a big plus. Next go around we'll be finishing up the inside. We're going to try our hand at shortening a drive shaft, so that ought to be fun. Also, the windshield may possibly be here. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in, along with the driver's door window. I don't know, she's getting pretty much wrapped up here. There's a lot of piddly things to do. Wiring in the dome light. I want to put a couple lights on the sides here. I don't know, little stuff like that, just time-consuming stuff that's not really worth filming. So I'm thinking by the end of the next episode, we may be pretty close to, if everything goes right, rolling this baby out of here for the first time since, what, January, February? It's been more of a project than I wanted it to be, let's put it that way. But aren't they all? Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. If you know anybody that may want to check out the old 55 Willys build, share the videos with them. And until next time, man, take it easy.